Was that the bite of 87?
Hello everyone and welcome back to another review. Today we're looking at Anthro Lightning McQueen. He is a car. Wait, what? Hold on, I'm getting a. Oh, his name is Ackar. Sorry, a car, really. So here he is, a car. We love him, and he is set number 8985, and he has 55 pieces. He was released in the glorious year of 2009. And right there, one of the most expensive canister sets. He has a pretty cool box, not going to lie. Kind of reminds me of the big building in Metro Nui. You know, the big tower. And the top of the box is, I don't know what it's supposed to be. Normally, the top of the box is do something or they mean something, but this is just kind of a shape. And hey, if you like and subscribe, I'll open the box. Just kidding. I'll open it for you right now. So it just pops off. And this is another one from Mosby. Shout out, yo. Check out his store. He just got in a bunch of new stuff, but I have all of it. Of course, I've run into this issue several times with several people where I have so many Bionicle sets. I have, I think, half of them about. And I'm not going to fully disassemble this guy because he has the new style joints from 2008 and they crack so easily. Luckily, this figure does not have any cracks, or at least that I can see, which is a blessing because, again, these things, they break so easily. It's very scary, but you can see it's a simple build. It's basically like his torso is made out of like 3 big pieces, basically, with just a couple pins and, you know, things like that. Pretty simple, basically an Anika build. And here are the instructions. Pretty cool, just the same art as the box, obviously. The classic sorting thing, and pretty basic, you know, late 2000s instructions. However, it does have a rule book at the back, which we'll take a look at. Advertisement for the movie, which controversial movie. I think it's okay. It's pretty stupid, but it's okay. And here are the simplified rules for the game. You can find the more complex ones on the website. I will not be showing it off this fine evening because it's pretty self-explanatory. There's just other rules for like certain sets, and it goes into it a little bit, but it does not get into the nitty-gritty. And you can see pictures and more pictures. I have that set. It's the biggest Bionicle set ever. Not to brag. And then in the back here, we have some LEGO Club stuff. And then the back, which is, you know, just the back. And I'm not even going to do a speed build for this because of these joints. You can see they're so thin. The math is kind of off. And they're too small and very thin. So we'll quickly be assembling this guy, and you gotta be very careful. I like to kind of brace the pieces. I kind of slurred that. I like to brace the pieces when I put them together. Just be extra careful because I'm kind of paranoid that way. You can see he's going together pretty well. These joints are in pretty good shape. I'm trying to see which way do his arms go, because it matters, guys. It totally changes the set. If his arms are backwards, it's the set's ruined, basically. All right, so 1 arm, 2 arms. He has these very interesting power miner blade thingies. Whoops, I kind of slipped there. For his pauldrons, which I think is very interesting. It's not a new recolor or anything. It's the blades from the Power Miner set, which is pretty cool. And let me readjust the camera. You see nothing in the corner there. No Tahu. No, you don't see him. Or his shadow. We'll just move him off to the side. And we are almost done with this fella. Let me get his hand, which is gray. Kind of interesting. Besides his neck, it's the only gray piece that I'm aware of. Kind of strange. I think it's kind of supposed to look like coals or something, but I'm not certain of that. And all throughout, he has a pretty cool kind of gradient of fire, where the inside is kind of this bright orange, and then it becomes a more reddish color, and then it becomes gray. I do think it would be cool if he had maybe like one white piece in the middle or something. I don't know. He does have blue, however, in the middle, which I will show off a little bit later, because it's very annoying. And then the helmet goes on, and here we have Ackar. One of the weirdest names. It really, really sounds like a car, or cars from JoJo's, maybe. I don't know. And there we go. He is done, and I just realized I've said I don't know a lot in this video. I don't know. I kind of have words of the day. I just said it again. I just said I'm like, I gotta break that. I don't know why I say it so much. Oh my. Ah! Here he is next to Tahu, which is basically his counterpart, which is pretty obvious in the color scheme and design. But you can see there's definitely been a progression over these 8-9-ish years. On paper it's 8, but we all know it's really 9 to 10. And he is kind of inverted from Tahu, like his feet are orange instead of red, and his legs are red instead of orange, blah blah blah. Man, you know, I think it's cool. It definitely gives him some character, because they could have very easily just made him a cheap rip-off of Tahu, but he kind of has a inverted color scheme. You can see Ackar has a little bit better of a sword here. It's a little bit, just a little bit bigger, just a hair. But I think it's very cool. It's kind of rubbery, and I'm not going to bend it around too much because these can break. Oh yeah, and before I inevitably forget, there's the blue I was talking about. You can see it connects the Power Miner blades, and it looks terrible, and I really don't know why they did it, because he has black in other places, and they have those pins in black, and it's truly annoying. He does have red pins, though, so it works. I don't know, this is when they were going through their really big pins are blue, axles are red phase, which I hate. And he has these bell bottoms. These are new pieces. They're bell bottoms. They're very wobbly, but I think they're cool, and they don't hinder movement too much, which we'll talk about a little bit more. Here's that big sword piece I was talking about. It's, I'd say, translucent, and it doesn't show well on camera. Here's his thorn axe launcher. It's an exploding fruit. It does not work super great. It's fine, I guess. They improve it in Hero Factory, at least in my opinion. But I'm not a ball expert, so what do I know? And here is his life counter thingy-mabob for the little game. So, you know, it has all 5 or 6, and once he gets to the skull, he's dead. And I guess we can go down the slippery road, which is articulation. You can take a look at his feetsies first, and here's the bell-bottom piece. You can see it does hinder his back and forward articulation quite a bit. Not so much his back, but his forward a lot. But he can still tilt his ankle from left to right, which is pretty handy. Then he has, of course, knees, which I'm blocking with the sword. You can see very deep bend, way over 90 degrees. You like to see it. And then he has this epic thigh articulation. Very great. You can really get in those cheerleader kicks, and oh, that looks uncomfortable. And they can, of course, splay out and back and blah, blah, blah. The Power Miner claws do hinder his shoulders a little bit. He can get in a swivel, but he cannot splay them out too well. He cannot T-pose too well, which is very, very unfortunate. Let me move the camera up, I'm recording this, like the footage while I was sick. So you might hear a couple of, I'm trying to cut it out. And his elbow, you can see, bends back and forth very nicely. And his wrist also has great articulation. And his neck, you can look way down, way up, and of course tilts his head. And he can do some spinning, which we'll show eventually, I'm sure. And his head is very cool. You can see it's transparent. It kind of looks like Iron Man. Kind of weird, but his head's pretty cool. And kind of matches his sword in the glow factor. But overall, I think very cool articulation, if that makes sense. Pretty good articulation, I guess, would be a better phrase. I'm tired. I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. And let's use that word again. Overall, I think overall, it's a pretty great figure. And it's a shame that he has such great articulation and has such a cool design, because he is such a memento mori. He is so temporary. He can break so easily. And I think it's a shame, because he looks awesome. He feels awesome. He's a interesting character, kind of a, old retired champion dude. I think it's kind of a shame he doesn't come with a shield in this set, though, because he is a shield collector. But overall, again, my second favorite word of the day, I think he is a very awesome, fiery figure and really captures the spark and vibe of fire. Price, a little iffy. Back in 2009, he retailed for like $14, which is absolutely crazy pants, if you ask me, because with inflation, that was like $25, kind of, sort of, which I think is way too much. Trying to peek the microphone there. So I would definitely not buy him that price. He is, I would say, rather common. You can get him for pretty good prices. Like, Mosby sold me this guy for $10, which I think is a pretty great price. I would definitely pay that much for him. If you can find him for around that much, maybe his original retail price, not including inflation, I think you should get him. I think he's definitely worth that. But I don't know. He's a risky investment. He can break very easily. So if he's like $1 billion, I would not buy him. But that's all I have to say. So peace out.